Hey everybody, welcome to Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel and this is my reality. I am on here because I was watching this show and I love her content. It's called Culture Spill and Culture Covered, I think, or both of her channels. I could be wrong about that, but I know for sure Culture Spilled is for sure this one lady's channel. I don't know exactly who she is, but I love to watch her like breakdowns and kind of review them because she does an excellent job of keeping your attention, staying on topic, and giving you what, at least from what I could tell, appears to be the truth. And she will say allegedly when she, I guess, isn't as confident in the truth, but I respect it. So anyway, I was on her channel watching some other things, and then I came across this. It says unveiling Sean Combs' freak off world, and it's just a good breakdown. And so I probably got like 7 minutes in. I was like, I need to review this on my channel. So we're gonna rewatch it on Chanel's Reality. Shout out to them. Like I said, don't know. I don't have any direct contact with this content creator, but she's amazing. And I put her link is in the chat. I'm sorry, not in the chat. Her link is in the description. And so let's just go ahead and get started watching it because I love how she just stays straight to the point. Straight to the point. Okay. Let me put this in the chat. And then let me add. Oh no, I wasn't meaning to do that. This is what I was meaning to do. Okay. Shout out to all my peeps out there in the world watching Chanel's Reality. I appreciate you guys so much. More than you'll ever probably really know. Thank you for supporting my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have an opportunity. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started on this because I think it's a really good breakdown, at least from what I've seen so far. And I don't have any reason to doubt it because this particular content creator never under-delivers. So here we go.
Movies, gangster films, romantic comedies, horror stories. I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get! Yes, I gotta get it. I'm not gonna stay down. I'm not gonna stay down. I'm not. I can't do it, man. I can't do that.
Hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs is in custody this morning after being detained overnight by federal authorities in New York. According to a person familiar with the situation, Combs was caught off guard by his arrest in the lobby of the Park Hyatt Hotel, where he'd been living for several weeks.
Today, I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
Right. Gotta keep them there. Right. You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah.
Rock with me, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning. No. Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose.
Ladies, listen up. The video showing the pink salt trick that melts belly fat while you sleep has already passed 21 million views on TikTok. Want to see how simple it is to make? I'll show you right now. Honestly, I don't want to.
Would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected.
From a background dancer to one of the most powerful moguls in hip-hop.
This is what the music industry is all about!
To a wild predator.
Trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, among other crimes.
Sean Diddy Combs is a name that will go down in history as one of the most disturbing examples of what happens when a twisted mind gets immense wealth and unchecked power. A man who was known as love
I have become love.
Is now called the Black Epstein.
He's been called the Jeffrey Epstein of the rap world. And in fact, he is facing some similar charges because now Sean Diddy Combs is sitting in jail preparing to face off against prosecutors in the same court.
To be fair, I live an extravagant life and I make no apologies for it. I'm free as a mother.
Since the 90s, we've been hearing stories about Diddy's deranged behavior.
I could do anything.
And yet, despite the seriousness of all these allegations, Diddy somehow managed to protect himself from criminal investigation for years.
On separate coasts. Some even speculated Combs was involved in Tupac's death. He denies that.
It was hurtful, extremely hurtful. When I lost Kim, it broke my heart forever. So then I was just like, I just wanted to turn it into something positive.
Long before Cassie's explosive lawsuit dropped, our channel had been sounding the alarm about Diddy and all the allegations surrounding him. For a long time, we've reported on the rumors of Diddy preying on young people in the industry with the help of other, even more powerful individuals. But it felt like every time people tried to shed light on the darkness, nobody really paid attention. Well, let's just say Diddy's influence runs deep.
The bad boy of entertainment is getting the key to the city.
But now the powers that be are done protecting him, and it's time to confront the truth.
Y'all can't send none of y'all Meek Mills, y'all Puffies, y'all Lil Boozy, none of these names, none of these people that have to listen to y'all because they have legal. I never nobody, right? I'm the pussy that never nobody, right? But that means I can say whatever I want and not go to jail. And even if they did figure out a way, I'm still not backing down from what I said. Out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize.
Allegations of SADV, coercive control, forced freak-offs, victimization of individuals as young as 9, to his alleged involvement in the of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls, all this is now part of the public record. And this documentary will expose not just Diddy and his deviant crimes, but also those who have supported or enabled him in his sick and twisted acts.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
We'll also talk about how many celebrities have hinted at Diddy's predatory behavior over the years, but those comments were often dismissed as jealousy or industry gossip. People like Jaguar Wright and Cat Williams, who made claims about bizarre rituals and exploitation within Hollywood, were mocked and ridiculed, with people accusing them of tearing down a successful black man.
What's happening, Puff? I'll be back to you if JD ain't had enough. Yeah. Jermaine Dupri, king of the files, if you ask me, baby.
Cat Williams, Jaguar Wright, Kanye West, and Wendy Williams have been trying to expose Diddy's reign of terror, but for years, their warnings were largely dismissed as celebrity drama. It's almost as if the clues have been right in front of us, but the industry has continuously chosen to look the other way. After all, we all know the Hollywood elite often protect their own. But just as Cat Williams predicted in his January 2024 Club Shay Shay interview,
up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Every lie will be brought to light, and the collapse of Diddy's dark empire has officially begun. Diddy is now being compared to the infamous predator and rumored intelligence asset Jeffrey Epstein, who allegedly ran a massive blackmail operation. What history has shown us time and time again is that no one is too big to fall, and Diddy's power has officially run out. Get ready, because in this video, we're taking a deep dive into all the disturbing allegations and separating truth from fiction about the deserved downfall of Sean Diddy Combs.
This new lawsuit just came out that shows tons of evidence that P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, has been running a blackmail operation very much like Jeffrey Epstein, but in the rap and music industry for basically 30 years.
This documentary is not just about Diddy. It's about a culture that allows such predatory behavior to thrive. So stay tuned, because the truth is far more twisted than you ever imagined.
When I die, I want my last words to be, I did it. I did it.
The making of a psychopath. Sean Combs was born on November 4th, 1969 in Harlem, New York City. Now, Harlem has always been a breeding ground for hustlers, dreamers, and survivors, and Diddy's upbringing was no exception. His mother, Janice Combs, juggled roles as a model and teacher's assistant, although rumor has it that Janice was also involved in some other shady business. Meanwhile, Diddy's father, Melvin Earl Combs, had deep ties to the underground world of New York's criminal elite. Allegedly, he had connections to Frank Lucas, the notorious kingpin whose life was immortalized in the Denzel Washington film American Gangster. But things took a dark turn in 1972 when Melvin was mysteriously shot and killed at just 33 years old. He was found dead, slumped in a car on Central Park West. And what's even more chilling is that there's been speculation that Melvin wasn't just another casualty of New York's streets. Rumor has it that he might have been taken out for being a police informant and snitching on his own crew. This early exposure to violence and secrecy seems to foreshadow the allegations we're seeing now with Diddy, a mother who allegedly used her pageant business to procure women for wealthy clients and may have even engaged in her own freak-offs in front of Diddy, and a father caught in the dangerous game of deception, betrayal, and power struggles. These themes followed Diddy's own rise to power in the music industry.
It's a dream come true for, especially a young black kid, Mount Vernon, Harlem. Like, this is it right here. I love it.
Before Sean Diddy Combs became the mogul we know today, he was just another kid navigating the streets of New York, but also dealing with the trauma of losing his father and the pressures of living in Harlem. But he didn't stay an ordinary kid for long. Diddy attended Mount St. Michael Academy, a Catholic high school in the Bronx. Some sources have even speculated that Diddy was touched during his time as an altar boy at his local Catholic church, which may have triggered his disturbing behavior. According to one TikTok user, Diddy was an altar boy at Mount St. Academy around the time Reverend Lynch was accused of some despicable crimes by one of their students. Now, going back to Diddy's high school days, he was actually a standout football player, and he helped lead his team to a division title back in 1986. But football was just one side of young Diddy. Off the field, he was known for his temper. His childhood friends named him Puff because whenever he got mad, he would literally huff and puff like he was a ticking time bomb ready to explode. You've got to wonder if that early aggression, that unchecked ego, was a warning sign of the more dangerous persona he was starting to craft behind the scenes. After graduating high school, Diddy took a brief detour, enrolling at Howard University to pursue a business degree. Even back in college, Diddy's reputation wasn't just built on ambition, but on something a bit wilder: his infamous parties. These weren't just your average college ragers. Diddy was pulling in thousands of people, packing venues beyond capacity, and showing off his knack for controlling a crowd. It's no surprise that this caught the attention of industry figures, and allegedly, one of his legendary parties is where he met his mentor, Andre Harrell, the founder of Uptown Records. This was the moment that set everything in motion. So after just 2 years, he dropped out of college to fully focus on turning the dreams of making a name for himself in the entertainment industry into a reality. In 1990, Andre Harrell gave Diddy his first real shot in the music industry, hiring him as an intern at Uptown. Diddy climbed the ranks fast, becoming a talent director. But even then, there was this sense that Diddy wasn't just aiming for success. He was aiming for total domination. And word on the street is that his rise wasn't just the product of hard work and luck. Allegedly, Diddy started getting mixed up with some shady figures in the industry, the kind of people who promise unlimited wealth and power. But power like that doesn't come without a price. According to long-standing rumors and conspiracy theories, that price wasn't just paid with hard work. Some claim that Diddy was involved in what's known in certain circles as a blood sacrifice, the first sacrifice.
Why did Amazon send me $20,000? Because I use Amazon AI. I'm going to show you a way to potentially make money by pairing Amazon.
While working as an intern at Uptown Records, Diddy wasn't just making a name for himself in the boardroom. He was also building his reputation as a party promoter on the streets. And even back then, his ambition seemed abnormal. He allegedly had this notorious rep for packing events beyond capacity, and it wasn't long before his reckless habit led to an unspeakable tragedy. On December 28, 1991, Diddy, alongside Heavy D, organized what was supposed to be a high-profile AIDS fundraiser, a basketball game at City College in Harlem. The event was meant to raise money and awareness, drawing a large crowd eager to see their favorite stars. But what no one could have predicted was the sheer chaos that would unfold that night. According to a report from The Source magazine, the gym was only meant to hold about 2,700 people, but by the time the game was set to begin, over 3,000 people were trying to cram into the space. The doors had been locked, creating a bottleneck of people desperately pushing forward to get inside. The crowd surged, and what began as excitement quickly turned into panic. And what happened next was pure tragedy. 9 people were trampled to death in the stampede, including 15-year-old Jabal Rainey, the youngest of the victims. Another heartbreaking loss was the pregnant girlfriend of rapper Father MC, who was signed to Diddy's Uptown Records at the time.
A few times I thought I was going to pass out because it was hot on that staircase. You know what I'm saying? And when they closed the doors, I knew something was going down.
City College was a deep experience for me. I was there, I was on the floor, I watched people take their last breath, regurgitate, and die.
Okay, you said a female? Yeah, a female. Of asthma? Is he had an asthma attack? Uh-huh.
Now here's where things get even more sinister. Gene Deal, a man who would later become one of Diddy's personal bodyguards, was working security at City College that night. In interviews, Gene has openly talked about how he saw the warning signs before the tragedy struck. He claims he tried to warn Diddy, urging him to hire more security to clear the entrance because the crowd was getting out of control. But according to Gene, Diddy brushed off his concerns, telling him not to worry about it.
I told Puff right then and there, I say, Puff, if they don't do a boxing one outside and get these kids off the door, somebody gonna tonight. He said, Gene, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You just handle the stars once they come inside.
So why didn't this incident destroy Diddy's career? Why did the industry turn a blind eye to the tragedy and allow him to continue his meteoric rise? Think about it. 9 people died, and yet Diddy's career didn't skip a beat. In fact, he only seemed to rise higher and faster. It's almost as if something or someone was protecting him from the fallout.
It's crazy because it's so true. Like, I don't know a lot about a lie, especially in the entertainment industry. But if you go down even a small rabbit hole, there's so many seemingly allegedly bodies that come popping up, and it's just like, how does this continue to happen? And it's just completely unchecked. And listen, I'm a person who is not a conspiracy theorist at all, but there's only so far you can get down this rabbit hole before you like, no, wait a minute. Like, seriously, you're just kind of like, I can't believe that this is still being allowed. Like, it really feels like one of those situations where you kind of get to pull see the curtain be pulled back a little bit so you could see just even a smidge, because I don't even think a smidge even begins to describe how little we know about the entertainment industry. And when I say the entertainment industry, I'm talking about music, sports, film, TV, internet, like all the different places where you could find the entertainment, anything involving entertainment. It's controlled, and it's very specific, and it's very intentional. And I would call myself probably a very naive person regarding the music industry, because, you just watching TV, or you just like a good movie, or, you like this good album or whatever, the good song. And on some level, I know myself, I like the glitz and the glam, and certainly love like things that are expensive, not because they're expensive, but I just like the better life, meaning access, good food, good hotels, good vacations, all those types of things. So it's inviting to me. I like that part. But this dark side, never ever had a clue until I had a clue, and really never had a clue until the Cassie stuff started. When she dropped that lawsuit, and then I started watching Sloan Bella. Shout out to Sloan Bella. She crazy, but she is very accurate with a lot of the stuff, especially on P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Shitty Diddy, whatever you want to call him. She's accurate on his takedown or all of the things that are supposed to happen to him. If you go watch the 3-part series she did on Kim Porter, all of it is there. Every single part of what has happened to Diddy, to a certain extent, is there. She does another one on Beyonce and Jay-Z, so I believe her. I don't know if it's true or not, but she's been nothing but accurate regarding Diddy. So I'm just gonna roll with her until, you know, something is inaccurate. I don't think she's knows it all per se, and I don't think you could be right all the time. She's not God, but I definitely think she's been accurate. But anyway, back to what I was saying, it's like when you start thinking about the circumstances and the situations that people are in and are no longer alive and all of this type of stuff, you just start saying, I mean, as much as I don't want to think there's a conspiracy here, as much as I don't want to think there's other things going on, there's just certain shit you can't ignore. And his access and his non-downfall for 30 years, not even really anything ever happened to that man. And he, to me, has been doing the absolute most for however many years. And for him to be basically untouched all this time, and for all those people seemingly to know what the hell was going on, and nobody had anything. So listen, this is really what proved to me that everything can't be wrong. Everybody can't be wrong. Is when I have seen never before in my life, and I haven't since seen the entire entertainment industry sit on mute. MUTE. Never before. How does that happen exactly? How do you get basically nobody except 50 Cent and a few other people like Cat Williams say anything, and Jaguar Wright, but basically nobody from the entertainment industry saying not one word? How? How the hell does that happen? How does any one person have that much power that nobody still even now, nobody still has really anything to say? That's crazy. The only way anybody can figure that part out is to say there is either a large amount of money people are taking to shut the hell up, or B, they are being blackmailed or are involved in some capacity, and they don't want to tarnish whatever it is. But I feel like it's a combination of all three, and people really just don't want to get any of that ugly on them because they still have mouths to feed. They still have, a career to have had and all that kind of stuff. So that's my opinion about why nobody has said anything. I think they're all being blackmailed or have some sort of complicity in any of it and don't want any of that to get on them. That's my opinion. But let's keep watching.
While the City College tragedy made headlines at the time, it's surprising how quickly it was swept under the rug. And this is why some believe that the City College incident wasn't just a tragic accident, but part of something darker, a sacrifice made to ensure his path to power, wealth, and success in Hollywood. In the same interview where Gene talked about how he tried to warn Diddy that the situation at City College Gym was getting out of control, he also mentioned that Diddy's partner at the time, Jessica Rosenblum, was present at the scene that night. Now, Jessica wasn't just any associate. She was one of the key figures helping Diddy build his empire in those early days.
They got trapped downstairs through the second door because Jessica had got scared. That was Puffy's partner at the time, Jessica Rosenberg. She got scared, ran downstairs with the money box and shut the door behind her. And all those people got shut down in there and got trapped.
Jessica Rosenblum was one of the first influential female party promoters in the hip-hop scene during the early 90s. Though she kept much of her private life under wraps, she was widely regarded as the brains behind Diddy's notorious white parties, which he began hosting in the early 2000s. These extravagant events became the stuff of legend, but there's a darker side to Jessica's story. Many conspiracy theories have circulated, suggesting that Rosenblum might have been involved in some kind of secret Hollywood society, helping to pull strings behind the scenes. Now, what's even more intriguing is that at the time, there was only one other high-profile female hip-hop promoter in New York City, Maria Davis. In a 2015 interview with Vibe magazine, Maria dropped some interesting comments about Jessica, comments that have only fueled speculation about Jessica's deeper involvement in the industry's elite circles. Maria told Vibe, "You're always nervous trying to get people through the door, and back then, I was the only Black female promoter. There was nobody else doing it the way I was doing it. It was just me and Jessica Rosenblum. Puffy, Russell Simmons, and all of them used Jessica. They used her, and God used me." So the fact that Maria specifically said that God used her, while others like Jessica Rosenblum were used by darker forces, sounds like she was trying to imply that Jessica was associated with something sinister. And many listeners took it as Maria accusing people like Diddy and Russell Simmons of selling their souls to the dark side. Now, when Vibe pushed Maria to clarify what she meant by that, her response was even more unsettling. She hinted that Jessica was deeply connected to some of the most powerful figures in the music industry, specifically Leah Cohen.
Give yourself 28 days and become the most dangerous person in the room.
Let's be real. Most people over 40 use ChatGPT like
A man often referred to as hip-hop's evil puppet master. Maria told Vibe, Jessica Rosenblum was very good friends with Russell Simmons and then Lear, So where I had to fight for Mad Wednesday, they didn't have to fight, They got it easy. At the time of the 1991 City College stampede, Diddy was still a relative unknown. But as his fame skyrocketed, disturbing theories began to surface.
Says that Combs is a good kid who deserves all the success he's achieved in '92, despite its dismal beginning. Recently, Combs was promoted to vice president.
People started to speculate that the tragic stampede, where 9 lives were lost, might have been some kind of ritual sacrifice to prove Diddy's loyalty to the industry's power players in exchange for fame and fortune. Fast forward to 2021, and the comparisons between Diddy's reactions to the stampede and Travis Scott's response to the Astroworld crowd crush started raising eyebrows. Both events resulted in multiple deaths, and in both cases, the artists brushed off the tragedy like it was just another day. What makes this even creepier is a blind item that claims Diddy was completely unaffected by the stampede. Allegedly, while the victims were rushed to the hospital, Diddy stayed behind to count his cash, showing zero emotion or remorse.
I found interesting was that the people who were helping Diddy with the event found him counting his cash in one of the back rooms after the 9 children had been taken to the hospital. He denies this, of course, but multiple people have said that they saw him with their own eyes. Very interesting, right? Very, very interesting. Now, if you were hosting an event where 9 children were just rushed to the hospital and later went on to pass away, why would you be in a back room focused on your money unless you were the devil in the flesh?
After the tragic stampede, several wrongful death and personal injury lawsuits were filed. But surprisingly, no criminal charges were ever brought against Diddy or any of the event's organizers. This disaster is said to have been one of the key reasons Andre Harrell fired Diddy from Uptown Records. But as always, Diddy was one step ahead. In 1993, Diddy launched Bad Boy Entertainment in partnership with Arista Records and quickly signed Christopher Wallace, better known as Notorious B.I.G. or Biggie Smalls. This move marked the beginning of Diddy's rise to the top, but it also opened the door to even darker dealings. And this brings us to another set of disturbing allegations about Diddy, linking him to the violent deaths of Biggie and his rival Tupac Shakur. Bloody rise to power.
Who's that, Biggie? Oh, that's just fake.
Diddy and Biggie Smalls first crossed paths in 1992 after Diddy took notice of Biggie following a feature in The Source magazine. Biggie's raw talent and street credibility immediately caught Diddy's eye, leading to a connection that would shape the future of hip-hop. Around this time, Biggie was also growing close with Tupac Shakur, the West Coast's rising star. Their friendship wasn't just professional. Biggie and Tupac were tight. They would hang out together when Tupac was visiting New York or Biggie was out in LA. But everything changed on November 30th, 1994, During an infamous incident at Quad Recording Studios in Manhattan, Tupac was ambushed and shot 5 times in the lobby of the studio. He survived, but the attack shattered his trust, especially in Biggie and Diddy. According to Tupac, not only did the shooters have ties to Diddy's camp, but he believed Biggie knew about the attack and failed to warn him. It was a deep betrayal in Tupac's eyes. Biggie, on the other hand, repeatedly denied any knowledge of the ambush. What made things even more suspicious was that both Biggie and Diddy were inside the same building when the incident happened. But their reactions couldn't have been more different. While Biggie seemed shocked, Diddy reportedly stayed calm, almost too relaxed for the situation. The infamous East Coast and West Coast feud escalated rapidly after the incident. What started as a rap beef turned into a deadly rivalry, culminating in the of Tupac in September 1996.
Tupac was 25 years old.
And Biggie in March 1997. And despite countless investigations and theories, both remain officially unsolved.
Remained unsolved for nearly 30 years.
But for many hip-hop fans, Diddy's name has been quietly but consistently linked to the tragedies, especially when it comes to Biggie's untimely death. Let's fast forward to March 8, 1997, just one day before Biggie's. Diddy and Biggie were in Los Angeles, attending a Soul Train Awards afterparty hosted by Vibe magazine at the Peterson Automotive Museum. The atmosphere was tense, with rumors of West Coast hostility circulating. But Diddy didn't seem too concerned. It's been reported that the night before Biggie was down, Diddy and his entourage, including Biggie, were living it up like nothing could touch them. The party was shut down because of overcrowding, forcing Biggie and his crew to leave in 2 Chevy Suburbans. Biggie sat in the front passenger seat, accompanied by 2 others. Meanwhile, Diddy traveled in a separate vehicle with 2 bodyguards, and the security director of Bad Boy Records followed closely behind in a Chevy Blazer. As Biggie's SUV approached a red light about 50 yards from the Peterson Automotive Museum, a black Chevy Impala pulled up next to Biggie's vehicle. The window rolled down, and the driver pulled out a gun. In an instant, shots rang out, and Biggie was hit 4 times. The group immediately rushed Biggie to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where surgeons worked frantically to save his life. But despite their best efforts, at 1:15 a.m., Biggie Smalls was pronounced dead.
Rap artist Notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace was shot early Sunday morning and later died of gun.
He was only 24 years old, and almost immediately the speculation began. Some industry insiders pointed fingers at Diddy, speculating that he had pressured to travel to LA just months after Tupac's. Despite the clear tension between the East Coast and West Coast rap scenes. Around that time, there were also rumors that Biggie was planning to leave Bad Boy Records after discovering that Diddy had allegedly been stealing from him. And some sources claimed that Biggie and Tupac had squashed their beef before Tupac's death and were planning to start their own label, leaving Diddy completely out of the picture. In his first interview following Biggie's death, Diddy was quick to deny any claims of a financial dispute. He also refused to speculate on the motive behind the shooting, but his body language while talking about Biggie's death only fueled more speculation. These rumors didn't die down. They only grew louder with time. The streets and hip-hop fans alike have been questioning Diddy's role in not just Biggie's death, but also the larger conspiracy surrounding the East Coast-West Coast feud. Many fans believe Diddy used Biggie's death to cement his place in the industry. After all, just months later, Diddy's music career took off, riding the wave of Biggie's posthumous success. While many people assumed that Suge Knight, the infamous CEO of Death Row Records, orchestrated Biggie's as revenge for Tupac's death, people also wondered if Diddy knew about the plan all along and simply let it unfold. In an article published by Rolling Stone in December 2005, it was reported that Diddy not only refused to cooperate with the investigation, but also allegedly urged his Bad Boy Records employees to do the same. Biggie's mother, Valletta Wallace, also voiced her distrust of the police, hinting at a web of corruption within the LAPD. She implied that key evidence related to her son's death was concealed, and she also revealed that Biggie never fully trusted Diddy. Valletta wrote in her memoir, "I believe Sean loved my son after he was dead. I used to tell Christopher all the time not to trust Sean." Biggie reportedly had no intention of being in Los Angeles the night he was especially given the heightened risks following Tupac's tragic death just 6 months earlier. According to Kirk Burroughs, a former executive at Bad Boy Records, Biggie was actually slated to head off on an international press tour in London that very day. But Diddy called him and insisted that he stay in LA instead.
He was supposed to leave that early morning, go to London, and we would be out there for 2 or 3 days, and then he would go back to New York and go home. Diddy called Sean P. Diddy, whatever his name was during that time, called late Friday night, early Saturday morning, saying he's not going to London.
Gene Deal later confirmed this story and suggested that Diddy might have willingly sacrificed Biggie's life to protect his own interests.
You know Pac just got. It ain't no kind of business Big was doing. Big couldn't even walk. He couldn't run. They was pushing him around in a wheelchair, brother.
Less carbs, more possibilities. Egg Life egg white wraps can do all your faves. Sweet, savory, snack-worthy. Oh, it's got range. Also protein. Egg Life. Sneaky protein.
Are you tired of uncomfortable bras that dig, poke, and just don't fit right? We deserve better.
Why the hell would you rent studio time in LA for him to finish your album when in fact you got your own studio, Daddy's out?
Now, when it comes to Tupac Shakur, following the recent arrest of Diddy's former associate and Southside Crips member Keefe D for his involvement in Tupac's murder, explosive reports emerged claiming that Diddy put a $1 million bounty on both Tupac and Suge Knight's heads. LAPD detective Greg Kading revealed that an informant came forward as far back as 1997, claiming that Diddy was behind the orders for both hits, a claim that Keefe later seemed to corroborate. Now, some believe that Diddy's supposed announcement of $1 million bounty was just a tactic to escalate tensions and not a real hit order. Before the shooting, a heated altercation unfolded when Tupac and his crew confronted Keefe D's nephew, Orlando Anderson, after Orlando allegedly stole a death row chain from a fellow associate, Trevon Lane. And rumors circulated that Diddy was planning to use that stolen chain to provoke Suge Knight in the music video. While some sources suggest that Tupac's was simply the outcome of these conflicts, many remain unconvinced, believing instead that Diddy's offer to the Crips was a serious plan to eliminate his rivals. But despite the gravity of these allegations, Diddy has never faced an official investigation into his alleged involvement in Tupac and Biggie's deaths. After the tragic losses of the two rap legends, Diddy rebranded himself as Puff Daddy and worked hard to distance himself from the East Coast, West Coast drama. But in a creepy coincidence, almost exactly 8 years after the deadly stampede in 1991, Diddy found himself entangled in another shooting incident at a nightclub. This event led to multiple charges and a highly publicized trial. But once again, Diddy beat the odds. NYC shooting trial. The shooting incident took place on December 27, 1999 at Club New York in the heart of Times Square, where Diddy was celebrating with his then-girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez, and rapper Shine, who was signed to Bad Boy Records. At around 2:20 a.m., a seemingly minor altercation turned into full-blown chaos when Diddy accidentally knocked a drink from someone's hand, leading to a mocking response from a man named Matthew Allen, better known on the streets as Scar, who threw a stack of cash in Diddy's face. Things escalated quickly, and multiple witnesses claimed that shots rang out from Diddy's. The chaos left 3 people injured, with one woman, Natanya Rubin, in the face. And while Diddy and J-Lo managed to slip away in his 1999 Lincoln Navigator, they were stopped by police after running a red light. When authorities searched the vehicle, they found a stolen 9mm handgun stashed in the trunk, leading to the arrests of both Diddy and Jennifer Lopez. J-Lo spent 14 hours behind bars, and this incident ultimately became the breaking point for her. She ended their relationship on Valentine's Day 2001 and never looked back. As for Diddy, he faced 4 charges related to weapons possession, along with allegations of bribing his driver to take the fall for the Shine found himself in hot water, arrested and charged for his role in the incident. While Shine was convicted and sentenced to a decade behind bars, Diddy managed to avoid prison time, thanks in part to high-profile attorneys like Johnny Cochran and Benjamin Brafman.
Mr. Combs feels very confident. Mr. Combs is not guilty.
But reports emerged that Diddy threw Shine under the bus to save his own skin. Gene Deal claimed that Diddy even pressured witnesses to testify against Shine.
Y'all hearing it from me, but Sean said it himself in his interview. You supposed to be my brother, and you got people testifying against me. Those people were testifying. They were brought to Puff first, saying that what they saw against Shine, what they saw Shine do.
After his release from prison, Shine made the decision to convert to Orthodox Judaism, which sparked an urban legend that Diddy was the devil incarnate. This theory emerged partly because several artists associated with Bad Boy seemed to find religion after their experiences with Diddy. Shine turned to Judaism, Mace became a pastor, Loon embraced Islam, and Craig Mack joined a controversial Christian cult. The shooting incident in 1999 served as a pivotal moment for Diddy, prompting him to change his stage name from Puff Daddy to P. Diddy. This rebranding was his way of trying to distance himself from the shadows of his criminal past. But this wasn't the last time he would feel the need to reinvent himself. He's gone through multiple name changes and image overhauls after various public scandals. In 2017, Diddy changed his name to Love.
That's my official name, Love.
A seemingly positive gesture. But this name change came just months before the sudden and mysterious death
2, 3, love!
of his ex-girlfriend, Kim Porter. Kim Porter's story.
Skip the rental counter with Turo. Rent just about any car, just about anywhere.
Theme of the night is family over everything.
What a beautiful family. Just about a year after Diddy announced his name change to Love, tragedy struck when Kim Porter, the mother of 3 of his 7 children, passed away unexpectedly at the age of 47.
I decided to change my name again. I'm just not who I am before.
47-year-old Porter's body found after a desperate call to 911.
I'm something different. So my new name is Love, aka Brother Love.
She was last seen looking happy and healthy with her ex and their children at this event just 16 days before her death.
I will not be answering to Puffy, Diddy, Puff Daddy.
Official reports attributed her death to complications from pneumonia, but many were quick to express skepticism about this ruling. Since then, rumors that Diddy might have orchestrated Kim's death have been spreading like wildfire, with multiple insiders alleging that Kim was preparing to publish a tell-all book that could expose some of his darkest secrets. One of the most vocal critics was Jaguar Wright, an industry insider and former background singer for Jay-Z. She claimed that Kim's initial autopsy revealed traces of poison.
Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms.
But Jaguar went further, suggesting that others who had dealings with Diddy and were planning to release similar exposés often ended up falling ill or dying under mysterious circumstances. Kim's ex-husband, Albie Shore, publicly stated that she didn't die of pneumonia. Just months after he labeled her death as in a post, Al mysteriously fell into a coma. In a haunting July 2020 video, which he later deleted, he shared his devastation, saying, "I just found this footage from the morning I learned of Kim Porter's and how it ripped the soul from my physical body." He firmly believed that Kim didn't just suddenly pass away due to illness. In his grief, he also used the hashtag "Don't Let the Love Songs Fool You," likely referencing Diddy's heartfelt tributes to Kim that felt more like a facade.
Hey, baby girl Kim, this one is for you.
In a bizarre twist, Albie Shore later revealed that Kim had confided in him about feeling like she was running, and he advised her to call the FBI. What also added to the growing atmosphere of suspicion surrounding Kim Porter's death is the fact that Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie filed a lawsuit against him on November 16th, just one day after the 5th anniversary of Kim's passing. Many speculated that Cassie's timing was not a coincidence, but served as a powerful message about what Diddy might have done to Kim. So let's dive into Cassie's story, because if it wasn't for her brave choice to refuse Diddy's offers to settle things privately and instead expose him publicly, Diddy would still be out there, wreaking havoc without any accountability. Cassie's lawsuit, the beginning of the end. In November 2023,
We have breaking news now involving Sean Diddy Combs and his ex-girlfriend, the singer Cassie.
the world was rocked by a bombshell lawsuit
Filed against Sean Diddy Combs accuses the music performer and executive of
that would forever change the way we look at one of hip-hop's most powerful figures.
Cassie has accused hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
Cassie Ventura, Diddy's longtime girlfriend and protege, came forward with a lawsuit that alleged years of SA, DV, manipulation, and exploitation at the hands of Diddy. For over a decade, Cassie had been a silent figure in Diddy's orbit, always by his side, but rarely allowed to speak for herself.
I wanted everybody to meet Cassie.
But now, the truth is finally coming out. Cassie's courage in speaking up triggered a domino effect that would shake the entertainment industry to its core. Cassie's bravery, however, did not come without a price. The public turned vicious, and in the weeks following her filing, victim blaming and misogyny flooded social media. People asked why she didn't speak up sooner. They criticized her for waiting until now to come forward, as if the trauma of DV and SA come with an expiration date. But while they asked why Cassie waited, where was the same energy for others? Why weren't people asking Kid Cudi why he never publicly said a word about Diddy trying to blow up his car?
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, it's this dope tech from Wix. Now, this whole flow is a conversation. So
These questions reveal the deeply rooted misogyny that women, especially Black women, face when speaking up against powerful men. Now let's break down the timeline. Cassie first met Diddy in the early 2000s when she was just 19 years old. And for the next decade, she was caught in a cycle of control and mistreatment, both physically and emotionally. Despite the glamour of being Diddy's girlfriend, Cassie was living in fear. And it wasn't until she finally broke away in 2018 that she could even begin to heal. On Thursday, November 16th, the New York Times revealed that Cassie had filed a lawsuit against Diddy in Manhattan's Federal District Court. The claims she made were so shocking that the court included a trigger warning on the front page of her lawsuit. As reported by the Times, Cassie filed the suit under New York's Adult Survivors Act, which permits individuals to bring legal action even after the statute of limitations has passed. Cassie's lawsuit was 35 pages, and it outlined numerous disturbing incidents that occurred during her relationship with Diddy. The document opens by referencing Diddy's acceptance speech at the 2022 BET Awards, where he acknowledged Cassie for holding him down during tough times. At the time, most people just found it cringy that Diddy mentioned Cassie, especially since she was already married to Alex Fine with 2 kids. But looking back, that shout out now feels more like a veiled threat. As Cassie's lawsuit states, the truth is that Cassie was held down by Mr. Combs and endured over a decade of his violent behavior and disturbed demands. The lawsuit listed a number of disturbing acts, and Cassie claims that Diddy SA'd her in her home after she tried to leave him, often punched, beat, kicked, and stomped on her, blew up a man's car after he learned that he was romantically interested in her, forced her to engage in acts with male ex-workers, ran out of his apartment with a firearm in pursuit of a rival industry executive, demanded that Cassie carry his firearm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is, introduced her to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and substance use, and demanded that she procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his own addictions. Cassie's lawsuit further described how Diddy had complete control over her personal and professional life, making it impossible for her to escape without fearing for her life. According to the lawsuit, Diddy frequently beat savagely, and while these were witnessed by Diddy's staff and employees of Bad Boy, no one dared to speak up against their frightening and ferocious boss. Diddy would also allegedly often remind Cassie that he can cause her serious harm, and he used illegal substances and threats to force her into repeated unwanted sexual encounters with male workers. According to Cassie, these men wore masquerade masks and took substances before they conduct themselves on her. She claims Diddy called these arrangements freak-offs or FOs. Cassie also claims that Diddy's employees would follow her everywhere, even to doctor's appointments, and Diddy allegedly had police officers and doctors on his payroll. According to Cassie, on multiple occasions, Diddy had her personal medical records sent directly to his email address. She describes how she began experiencing memory loss, potentially due to excessive substance use and or head injuries from Diddy's attack. And the results of her MRI were given directly to Mr. Combs. To give you another example of Diddy's sick and twisted mind, early on in his relationship with Cassie, Diddy asked Cassie what she called her grandfather. And when she said she called him Pop Pop, Diddy insisted that she use that nickname for him. Later in the lawsuit, Cassie describes more instances of DV, including one incident that took place after a party with Jay-Z when Diddy attacked her in an Escalade using his hands and feet. There's another incident that allegedly took place in 2009 when Cassie says Diddy became enraged after he saw her talking to a music executive at a party in LA. He then dragged her out and stomped and her in the face till she started vomiting. When he saw how much damage he had done, Cassie says Diddy panicked and forced his staff to bring her to a hotel suite where she was required to stay for a week until marks on her face healed. According to Cassie, Diddy often referred to their relationship as Bobby and Whitney and Ike and Tina. Cassie also alleged that she again and again tried to escape, but every time she did, Diddy's vast connection of corporations and affiliated entities would find her and threaten her. In a final act of humiliation, when Cassie finally managed to escape and believed she was safe, Diddy visited her at her apartment under false pretenses. Cassie describes in her lawsuit how she repeatedly said no and tried to push him away. According to Cassie, even after she escaped Diddy and built a loving family with her husband, Alex Fine, the nightmare didn't end there. She's still dealing with the physical and mental consequences that Diddy's repeated DV and SA caused her. In the lawsuit, she states that she has required intensive medical and psychological care to recover from the trauma she lived through. In the immediate aftermath of Cassie's lawsuit, Diddy and his lawyers worked overtime to paint Cassie as a liar and an opportunist. And despite the fact that Diddy settled the lawsuit within 24 hours, Diddy's attorneys publicly slammed Cassie and claimed she was only after money. And then, as more allegations surfaced about other victims, Diddy denied everything and shared a now deleted message on Instagram that read, "Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character and destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth." But more people kept coming forward with evidence.
Go to LA and Miami Beach.
On March 25th, news broke that the Department of Security was carrying out coordinated raids on Diddy's two mansions in Miami and LA. NBC News and local stations were the first to report on the raids, and aerial footage showed dozens of heavily...
I miss my husband every day, but VA survivor benefits are helping us find financial stability and build a future.
Agents descending on Diddy's houses. Aerial footage also showed his two sons, Justin and Christian Combs, being led out of the house and handcuffed.
That could be his sons. That could be his sons.
While several other individuals were also detained. Later that day, Homeland Security Investigations released a statement about the raids, saying earlier today, Homeland Security Investigations New York executed enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. We will provide further information as it becomes available.
You know what? The thing about everything that's being detailed in this documentary, that I believe every bit of it, even though it says allegedly, because I wasn't there. I don't know none of these people. I believe all of it. And it's very interesting how quickly people have 10 million smoke bombs to throw at victims and have no questions, almost zero questions for the perpetrator. They don't ask the perpetrator, why is she accusing you of this? Why so many people are, accusing you of this? If all of this is lies, why so many people? They don't do that. Know what they do? They start with, oh, it was money. Oh, she's mad because he dumped her. He left her. It's just like I don't understand, nor do I relate, and I can't possibly relate to people who don't believe victims. It's never going to change over here. So if you don't like it, unsubscribe, whatever. I don't care. It's not going to change over here because I've just worked with so many victims over my 20 plus years in the, in the industry of public service. Like, it's mind-boggling to me that there's so many victims out there. When I say victims, I'm talking about people, victims of sexual assault, victims of just assault in general. They call it domestic violence. I call it assault because that's what it is. I don't give a shit. The public, I'll say this, the systems put in place are put in place to protect men. They're certainly not put in place to protect women. And what's crazy to me is all the women that still work against their own best interests, dragging victims as if they could never be a victim. As if their daughter or their auntie or their mama couldn't possibly be a victim. That's the thing that bothers my soul. I'm just like, y'all standing in line waiting to shout out and say how this woman is so terrible and how this man don't deserve to go to jail and all this other stuff. It's just like, I can't understand how you can't see how that person could be you. It could be any of us. It could be you, it could be your daughter, it could be your sister, it could be your auntie, it could be your girlfriend, it could be like, that's the part that's the most puzzling. Like, the people that fight against victims the most seemingly are women. Yeah, there's men out there and there's tons of them. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. But it's like all of the women that want to come out, and I know why they come out. It's the toxic conditioning that we all under. That, no matter what, you a woman and you should not be a hoe. Meanwhile, there's plenty of male hoes walking around and conveniently forget, well, if she's a hoe, then what exactly is he? Because he's the one out here, looking a hoe, right? So then what is he? But people don't want to say that. They'd rather just, like I said, the toxic conditioning. We're still going to keep the woman at the top of the food chain of she's so helpless and don't know what to do and so uneducated and can't do nothing for herself that she can only hope for and aspire to have this man and his money. It's like, come on, y'all. I just need y'all to wake up. Like, come the fuck on and wake up out of the fog. It is beyond crazy. And I know someone personally in my own life that is like, nope, I don't think that man deserved to go to jail. And he certainly don't deserve to go to jail for beating her for the rest of his life. And I'm like, wow. And the only thing I can think of is you feel that way because you identify with that type of behavior. That's the only reason that you would feel that way. Could I say somebody deserves to go to jail for the rest of their life for having a fight with someone? No. But to savagely beat someone and then drag them back into the room, the hotel room, to possibly beat them some more and whatever else he might have done to Cassie. Yeah, that's terrorism is what I call it. So yeah, send the terrorists to jail for the remainder of their life. And if you don't like it and you don't agree with it, don't have that fucking behavior. Period. End of story. It just is what it is. And it ain't changing over here. So whatever. If we had more people who were on board with not allowing violent criminals to get out of jail and reoffend within an hour or 2 hours or whatever it is, if they even make it to jail and are charged with something, it's bizarre to me how many people can't wait to see this man get out of jail. What's beyond is that they making it there's a black man, you're trying to hold this black man down. No, we not. We trying to keep a dangerous, crazy, seemingly corrupt, violent individual from being in our communities of any sort. Like, what the hell? Why would you not have a problem? Or no, let me say it like this. Why would you have a problem with removing someone with all these different types of violent behaviors from your community? Why would you have a problem? Why on earth would you want them to be out on the streets in your neighborhood? I can guarantee you none of these people want Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Shitty Diddy, whatever his name is, to come and stay in their neighborhood, be around their daughters. I can promise you all those people that saying free him and do this and do that, they got his back and swear that he's, just being railroaded and all that. They don't want that man to come live in their neighborhood. You want him to come be at your school? With your daughters? Influencing your sons? If not, shut the hell up. But people that okay with him have very similar mind frames. And I don't care what nobody say. I don't identify with violent people. I don't identify with rapists. I don't identify with people who are, violent. I don't identify with pedophiles. I don't like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to have those type of people around me. So you could like it or not like it. I don't give a shit. It ain't changing over here. But if you identify with that type of behavior and you okay with it, then it's highly likely that you have that type of behavior. Because I promise you, the good people in the world have very good behavior. And they usually typically are around people that are similar to them. The same with violent people. Why the hell would I ever want to be around somebody like that? What benefit are they to this world? Just help me understand. And that's no knock to, I'm not saying that people don't have a right to, be forgiven or, change their lives, and they shouldn't certainly be, reprimanded for the horrible act for the remainder of their life, especially when people can change and they can change their behavior and things like that. But this isn't that. This is a track record of behavior that's violent, sinister, and anything else in between. And people in the world still want to protect. I don't understand. So the only thing I can come up with that's reasonable is that you're just like him. I don't want someone like that in my neighborhood. And I have every good reason to not want that person or those type of people in my neighborhood. Like, the fuck? Why do I even have to explain this shit? Is crazy to me, but it is what it is. So here we are. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Shortly after, enforcement sources confirmed to CNN that the ongoing investigation into Sean Diddy Combs was connected to the allegations outlined in several civil lawsuits that have been filed against him since Cassie sued in November 2023. Then in May 2024,
girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel.
In what would be one of the most damning pieces of evidence, CNN released disturbing footage showing Diddy getting physical with Cassie in a hotel hallway. The footage corroborated some of the claims Cassie made in her lawsuit, and she described this particular incident saying that in or around March 2016, during a freak-off at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles, Mr. Combs became extremely intoxicated and Miss Ventura in the face, giving her eye. According to the lawsuit, Cassie waited until Diddy fell asleep and tried to leave the hotel room. But as she exited, Mr. Combs awoke and began screaming at Miss Ventura. He followed her into the hallway of the hotel as he yelled at her. He grabbed at her, and then he took glass vases from the hallway and threw her, causing glass to crash around them as she ran to the elevator to escape. The lawsuit then goes on to describe how after Diddy's brutal Cassie managed to leave, but upon realizing that her running away would cause Mr. Combs to be even angrier with her and completely stuck in his vicious cycle, Miss Ventura returned to the hotel with the intention of apologizing for running away from her. According to Cassie's lawsuit, when she returned to the hotel, security staff urged her to get back into a cab and go to her apartment, suggesting that they had seen the security footage showing Mr. Combs rough Ventura up and throwing glass in the hallway. Diddy reportedly paid Intercontinental $50,000 for the hallway security footage from that night, and everyone just decided to keep their mouths shut. Following this incident, Cassie said she left her home in Comstock and went to hide at a friend's home in Florida. But according to the lawsuit, James Cruz, president of Bad Boy Management, tracked her down and told her that her single would not be released if she did not answer Mr. Combs' phone calls. And then Cassie received another call from a woman who worked at Sony Music. music, and she gave her a similar ultimatum. The lawsuit goes on to say, incredibly, Mr. Combs even convinced one of the attorneys to call Miss Ventura at this time. This lawyer told Miss Ventura that it's in your best interest to call Mr. Combs back. Each time Miss Ventura tried to run away, Mr. Combs and his powerful network would force her back to him. According to Cassie, Diddy kept such a tight grip on her life that it irreparably damaged her friendships, and she was left with zero support system. Following the release of the disturbing hotel surveillance footage, Diddy finally admitted to committing the well, kind of. In his so-called apology video, Diddy never once mentioned Cassie by name or used the word sorry. Instead, he talked about how his behavior was inexcusable and blamed it on being effed up and hitting rock bottom.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
Why did Amazon send me $20,000? Because I use Amazon AI. I'm going to show.
Ask God for his mercy and grace.
If you've never witnessed a narcissist apologizing, this is what it looks like. This was Diddy basically saying, I am deeply sorry that I got caught. I should have bribed people with more money to keep their mouths shut and to erase any evidence they might have had. I'm disgusted that my money and industry connections couldn't make this go away. But it was too late, and Cassie's lawsuit started a snowball effect, encouraging multiple other victims to come forward. And in a disturbing turn of events that no one saw coming, the latest accuser to file a lawsuit against Diddy alleging SA is a 9-year-old boy. After Cassie opened the floodgates with her lawsuit, it didn't take long before other accusers started coming forward with more disturbing allegations about Diddy.
We now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When you talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained.
On November 23, 2023, a woman by the name of Joy Dickerson Neal alleged in a New York lawsuit that Diddy spiked her drink and her in 1991 and later disseminated revenge porn of the attack. Just days later, another lawsuit was filed by Liza Gardner, who accused Diddy and singer Aaron Hall of her and one of her friends in 1990 when she was just 16. The filing also claimed that Diddy physically and Gardner at her home days later, to the point that she passed out. And while Diddy's legal team rushed to deny these allegations, just weeks later, yet another lawsuit was filed, accusing Diddy of G-wording and X-moving a 17-year-old when she was in the 11th grade. Jane Doe claimed that she was 17 when she and used in 2003 by 3 men: Diddy, former president of Bad Boy Harve Pierre, and another man whose identity still hasn't been revealed. The filing also included a photo of Jane Doe sitting on Diddy's lap in the studio where she was allegedly. According to the filing, Diddy and his accomplices transported Jane Doe on a private jet from Detroit to Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, and then took her to NYC to visit Diddy's music studio. Once there, Jane Doe claims that she was plied with substances and alcohol, to the point that she could not possibly have consented to having relations with anyone. According to the filing, Jane Doe almost during the attack, and once the 3 men were done with her, they left her in the bathroom alone. The filing states, Miss Doe fell into the fetal position and lay on the floor. Her privates were in pain and she could barely stand up. It was after this lawsuit that Diddy shared that enough is enough message on his Instagram and claimed he did not do any of the awful things being alleged. But then in February 2024, another bombshell dropped. Diddy's former producer, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, filed an explosive lawsuit accusing Diddy of running a RICO enterprise and naming not only Diddy as the defendant, but also his alleged accomplices in the industry. Jones, who lived and traveled with Diddy for about a year while working on Diddy's most recent album, the Love album, Off the Grid, alleged in his lawsuit that he has irrefutable evidence of Diddy acquiring and distributing illegal substances, displaying and distributing unregistered illegal firearms, and solicitation. Jones claims Diddy employed Instagram model Jade Rami, City Girls rapper Young Miami, and 50 Cent's ex Daphne Joy as workers, and he also alluded to several other A-list celebrities, alleging that Diddy bragged about sleeping with them. According to Lil Rod, Diddy tried to convince him to engage in freak-offs by telling him this is something everyone in the industry partakes in. And then Lil Rod said Diddy allegedly told him he slept with Usher, Meek Mill, and Stevie J. Meanwhile, Lil Rod also alleged that Chris Brown attended Diddy's parties where age girls were present. Lil Rod also stated that he believes he had his drink spiked and was G-worded during one of Diddy's parties, which took place in February 2023. According to his filing, Lil Rod allegedly woke up with no clothes on, dizzy and confused, and in bed with Diddy and two workers. And once again, as soon as Diddy's lawyers denied the allegations made in Lil Rod's lawsuit, another accuser came forward. On May 21st, 2024, former model Crystal McKinney filed a lawsuit against Diddy, claiming he forced her to give him oral sex after a Men's Fashion Week event in 2003. As a result of the attack, McKinney claims she was blackballed by the modeling industry and suffered extreme depression, even attempting to take her own life a year later. And then just 2 days after McKinney filed her lawsuit, another alleged victim filed a complaint against Diddy, accusing him of and G-wording her in the 90s. According to the filing, April Lamprost was a student at New York City's Fashion Institute of Technology when Diddy started mentoring her in the fashion industry. She recalled meeting with Diddy at a Soho bar in 1995, and he allegedly overpoured her alcohol and then took her back to his Millennium hotel room. Lamprost said that she felt the walls were closing in on her as started to force himself on her. She claimed she was unable to push him off her and woke up the following day with no clothes on, sore and confused. According to the documents, Lamprost avoided Diddy at public events following the attack, but she claims that this led Diddy to become enraged and develop a mobster persona, threatening to blacklist her from the industry. And then at an event in 2023, Lamprost claimed a man told someone she was with that he had seen an explicit tape of her and Diddy that was filmed without her consent. By this time, Diddy's lawyers had stopped responding to the new lawsuits, and they refused to comment when approached by different media outlets. In the meantime, more alleged victims came forward. On July 3rd, 2024, a woman named Audria English filed a lawsuit against Diddy, claiming that he allegedly groomed into According to the filing, Diddy forced English to have relations with his jeweler, Jacob Arabov, who was also listed as a defendant in the suit. And English alleged this encounter wasn't a one-time thing, and Diddy expected her to be passed off to other people. In August 2024, Michigan inmate Derek Lee Cardello Smith was granted a temporary restraining order after suing Diddy for $100 million over an alleged SA that took place at one of Diddy's parties in 1997. Just weeks later, on September 10th, 2024, Dawn Richard, a former contestant on Diddy's MTV show Making the Band, filed a lawsuit against Diddy, accusing him of and inhumane working conditions. Richard claimed she was verbally and emotionally mistreated, and Diddy allegedly called contestants fat, ugly bitches and hoes. So with all these lawsuits and sickening allegations piling up, the day of reckoning finally came on September 16th, 2024.
Surveillance video shows Combs being taken into custody in a Manhattan hotel last week,
when Diddy was arrested by Homeland Security investigations at the Park Hyatt Hotel in New York City and formally indicted on 3 RICO charges. Following Diddy's arrest on September 16th, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams confirmed to NBC News that federal agents arrested Diddy based on a sealed indictment from the Southern District of New York. And just days later, the indictment was unsealed, revealing some never-before-heard details about Diddy's RICO enterprise. The indictment starts off with count 1, racket conspiracy, and describes how for decades, Diddy abused, threatened, and women and others around him to fulfill his desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. And to do so, they're saying Diddy relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled. The indictment goes on to describe the business empire as a criminal enterprise whose members engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, trafficking, labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. According to the indictment, Diddy manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of activity with male commercial workers. And as we know from Cassie's lawsuit, Diddy would refer to these performances as freak-offs. Diddy is also being accused of making arrangements for women and ex-workers to fly to his location. And the indictment claims that the way Diddy would ensure these women did what he told them was by supplying them with substances, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, but also by using intimidation and violence. The indictment states that dating back to at least 2008, Diddy and his alleged accomplices formed a criminal organization dubbed the Combs Enterprise. This operation reportedly engaged in a shocking array of crimes, including forced labor, interstate coercion, substance offenses, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The grand jury claims this organization, with Diddy at the helm, impacted both interstate and international commerce. The indictment details the means and methods the Combs Enterprise employed to fulfill Diddy's twisted desires. It states that victims were often lured under the pretense of a romantic relationship, only to find themselves intimidated and coerced into participating in extended intimate acts with male ex-workers referred to as freak-offs. These freak-offs were described as elaborate, produced performances that Diddy directed, participated in, and recorded. The indictment notes that these freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasting several days and involving multiple ex-workers. During these encounters, Diddy allegedly supplied victims with various controlled substances to ensure their compliance and obedience. He reportedly recorded these sessions without the victim's consent and kept the footage for himself. After the freak-offs, Diddy and his victims supposedly received IV fluids to recover from the physical strain and substance use. Let's not forget, Diddy has previously mentioned needing IV fluids to recover from typical partying. Remember that time he showed up late to the Ellen show because he had to get an IV beforehand?
I walked in with an IV.
I know. I walked back there and he's
Okay.
literally holding an IV. You just took that out yourself?
Yeah, let me get to the...
Just think about that in light of these serious allegations.
But I walked out with an IV and they said, thank you. They said that I would have to stay. I said, no, I have to go. I said I could pull that out myself.
Skip the rental counter with Turo. Rent just about any car, just about anywhere.
Freshpet's healthy senior roll gives him the support he needs, packed with high-quality nutrients that keep his mind sharp.
And then here's Diddy with his mom, Janice Combs, taking IV fluids in his backyard. The indictment also reveals some seriously shocking details about how Diddy's employees allegedly facilitated his freak-off sessions. According to the documents, staff members were tasked with booking hotel rooms and stocking them with everything Diddy needed: controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and even special lighting to set the mood. Once the freak-offs wrapped up, employees were also responsible for cleaning the hotel rooms and covering up any damage. And here's where it really gets wild. When Homeland Security raided Diddy's properties back in March, they found a shocking stash of freak-off supplies, including illegal substances and over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. The indictment also reveals some chilling details about Diddy's reign of terror through the so-called Combs Enterprise. According to the charges, members of his criminal organization didn't just stop at shady dealings. They were also allegedly using and storing weapons, and Diddy is accused of carrying and brandishing firearms to intimidate victims and witnesses. During the March raids, federal agents seized 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers and a drum magazine, hinting at a deeper layer of danger surrounding Diddy and his crew. Employees reportedly witnessed Diddy using physical force against his victims, but shockingly did nothing to intervene. Instead, they helped him track down victims trying to escape his grip, and the intimidation reportedly ramped up after Cassie filed her lawsuit in November 2023. The indictment claims that Diddy tried to bribe witnesses and victims to keep them quiet, going so far as to call them and spin a false narrative about events to hide his crimes. Notably, some of these calls were recorded, potentially laying bare Diddy's manipulative tactics. And all this was just count 1. Count 2 of the indictment refers to extortion by force, fraud, or and finally, the third felony count of the indictment refers to transportation to engage in. describing how between 2009 all the way up to 2024, Diddy knowingly transported female victims and commercial with the intent they engage in prostitution. But can we talk about how for years, multiple people have been trying to sound the alarm about Diddy and all his alleged crimes, and yet their warnings were often brushed aside or dismissed as outlandish conspiracy theories. People like Jaguar Wright, Cat Williams, and Kanye West have all hinted at Diddy's involvement in shady activities, yet they were labeled as crazy for speaking out. Even Wendy Williams, who repeatedly covered Diddy's controversies, mysteriously fell ill and disappeared from the spotlight. Then there's Aaron Carter, who publicly mentioned Diddy's name in a negative light just before he died under suspicious circumstances. It's a disturbing pattern that seems to follow anyone who dares to speak up. And the consistency in how these voices have been silenced for decades has only fueled more speculation. Wendy Williams had a long-standing feud with Diddy. Wendy, known for her never holding back, wasn't afraid to call out Diddy's rumored DL lifestyle and some of the shady things he was allegedly mixed up in, especially when it came to young artists in the industry. In retaliation, Diddy reportedly had Wendy fired from her radio job and blacklisted her across all the major radio stations in New York.
New York City, when she put out those pictures of the dude pulling his pants down and it looked like some gay act that was going on, he got on the phone. He said, let me tell you this. When I get back to New York City, if she's on the radio station, he's talking to a radio executive. When we got back to New York City, Wendy Williams was in Philly at a new station. Wow. That's the power he had.
Wendy later revealed even more details during her interview on Vlad TV and said she was burned at the stake for daring to speak out about the hip-hop industry being full of DL men.
We come from a very homosexual era of hip-hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle. There were many situations, none of which to talk about, but there were many situations back in the day in my career. And it's all coming full circle now. So,
but that wasn't the only thing Diddy allegedly did to intimidate Wendy. An old clip of Wendy recently resurfaced where she talks about how Diddy sent a girl group from Bad Boy to her workplace to intimidate her and rough her up.
I remember I got off the air one day and them total were downstairs waiting, and everybody upstairs at the radio station is looking down, egging it on, waiting for something to go down.
If you think Diddy went to such extreme lengths just because Wendy insinuated that he was on the DL, Wendy wasn't just talking about Diddy's rumored sexuality. That had already been an open secret in the industry since the 90s. The real reason Diddy allegedly tried to take Wendy down is way darker. Word on the street is that Wendy had the inside scoop on some of Diddy's alleged crimes involving young people and his mistreatment of women. That's the kind of dirt Diddy couldn't afford to let slip. And let's not forget, Wendy was one of the first people to publicly suggest that Cassie might be in danger, years before Cassie eventually got out of her toxic relationship with Diddy. Back in 2015, when Cassie and Diddy briefly split after he allegedly Cassie fled to South Africa to escape him and his crew. Wendy even brought this up on her show, saying Cassie was probably terrified, knowing full well that Diddy could find her anywhere in the world and pay people off to cover up his mess. Wendy knew the type of power Diddy had, and that's why he was so desperate to keep her quiet.
You know, my thing about when you date a mogul is that it's really difficult to avoid them, because if you use your head, you never know when they're going to pop up on the scene. Like, he's mogul, like he can hire a plane right now, zoom it to South Africa, land on the roof of the hotel where she's staying, okay? Pay people off at the front desk, give me the key and let me up in her room. Like, I'm already paranoid as a person, but to know that somebody could actually swoop down on me in the middle of nothing would scare the bejesus out of me.
What are you waiting for? Set up your ACM in a minute at olafly.com, and you can be connected with more than 200 destinations.
Fast forward to November 2023, and Cassie drops her explosive lawsuit against Diddy, which pretty much confirms everything Wendy had been warning about years earlier. Cassie said in her lawsuit, anytime she tried to create distance between her and Mr. Combs, he used his networks to find her and convince her to return to his. On multiple occasions, Mr. Combs sent his employees to lure Miss Ventura back. Wendy Williams has always had this sixth sense when it comes to seeing through the smoke and mirrors, especially when it comes to Diddy. She was calling things out years ago that are still making headlines today. But here's where it gets super strange. In 2017, just a few months before Cassie finally broke free from Diddy, he actually appeared on the Wendy Williams show. And guess what? They acted like they'd buried the hatchet. They laughed about their old drama, cracking jokes like they were long-lost friends. But looking back, that reunion feels too convenient. Almost like it was staged to throw everyone off his scent.
I pissed a lot of people off, including you.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a full circle moment, everybody.
yes.
Get into adult conversation.
Yes.
Looking back, this interview hits totally differently now. If you really pay attention to their body language, it's like Diddy was silently giving Wendy that stick to the script warning, almost daring her to step out of line. The tension was thick, and it felt almost like Diddy was trying to intimidate her right there, live on air.
Yeah.
And I want to just tell you how proud I am of you, because I don't think you get enough credit for being the first one to really cover our culture, you know, hip hop culture, and also hip hop celebrities, and just understanding that it's news. Not just saying that's all that you cover, but you started shedding light on our culture and our people, and thank you very much.
What's also disturbing is how since that interview, Wendy's health has spiraled fast. And knowing Diddy's connections to all kinds of substances, it makes you think. There were even rumors that he hired the same doctor who treated Kim Porter right before she tragically passed, with whispers about Kim's autopsy showing possible signs of poisoning. Could Diddy have had a hand in Wendy's downfall? It's all very suspicious, and it will probably take years until the truth comes out. Now let's shift to Cat Williams, because this man has been trying to warn us for years about the dark side of Hollywood. Rituals, shady offers, and some powerful people doing some very questionable things behind the scenes. Remember when Cat Williams blew up on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay in January 2024? He dropped major tea about how Diddy tried to take him shopping, which for those who don't know is basically code for taking part in freak-offs. Cat was crystal clear that he had to turn down multiple offers because they came with some serious strings attached.
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Can I need another one? You here, get you another.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
Because early on you was accusing me of being...
Cat, man.
It's crazy. Because I'm favored by God. Like, when I see people's wives and stuff, I don't even look at them. You know?
But it's one thing for Diddy to throw sketchy deals at grown adults. And yeah, the whole shopping trip story became a running joke about certain industry men doing whatever it took for success. But here's the real issue. When these so-called offers target the young and vulnerable, things get sinister. And Cat wasn't having any of it. During his interview with Joe Rogan, Cat opened up even more about these disturbing rituals allegedly happening in Hollywood. And this time, Cat connected the dots between some deeply troubling behavior and hinted at rituals involving the industry's youngest and most vulnerable.
Hollywood is not really there to entertain you. Like, that's great that happens. But propaganda is something that is important to all civilizations. He keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is. So 20 years ago, I knew that transgenders was going to be a thing. It wasn't because I was a prophet. It's just I had gotten so much information that I understood that things are secular. So I understood that the earliest I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender. And so I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the transgender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his ass ring.
Really?
And it said both of those things. So I knew that both of those things would become popular in the future.
Meanwhile, Kat also reacted to an old clip of Diddy guest starring on Nickelodeon's All That, alongside some young stars. Dan Schneider, the man behind All That, has a notoriously shady reputation, and he's the one who allegedly invited Diddy to be on that episode.
And he's still sound asleep. What are we gonna do? I don't know. You know, in situations like this, I always ask myself, what would P. Diddy do?
This episode originally aired back in 2002 and shows young actors Jack DeSena and Brian Hearn trying to wake up their friend, played by Shane Lyons. Their first attempt, dumping sour milk on him. But when that doesn't do the trick, they turn to Diddy for help.
You try symbols?
Yep.
What about sour milk?
Didn't work.
Tell you what.
So you think you know Wix, but do you really? First up, we've got Shake.
Take this toy helicopter. Put it down his pants.
All right, we'll do it.
When this clip started making waves online, Cat Williams jumped right in and reposted it on his Instagram stories with a caption, "They're all in it." In other words, Cat was basically saying, "I told you so." He's been ringing the alarm about the industry's dark side for years, and now it seems everything he warned us about is finally unraveling. And let's not forget about Kanye West, who also deserves an apology. He's the first one who publicly hinted that Diddy has ties to the feds and powerful government figures. Back in late 2022, when Kanye started calling out the big players in Hollywood, Diddy went on The Breakfast Club and dismissed him, claiming Kanye was just making unnecessary noise.
It's not the time for unnecessary noise with, you know, him or Karen Owens, you know what I'm saying? Because this is really Candace. Candace.
Kanye wasn't having any of Diddy's comments and decided to share screenshots of their texts where he boldly accused Diddy of being a Fed. After Diddy tried to silence him, Kanye shot back, saying, "Come and do something illegal to me now, please." Diddy then replied, "As soon as I land, we'll meet face to face. Send me the address." But Kanye wasn't buying it. He sensed something off and fired back, saying, "F you, you Fed." But Diddy still wasn't giving up, and he texted back, "Don't feel threatened. You'll be fine. Just love." But Kanye didn't let it end there. When he made an appearance on Drink Champs, he went off again, calling Diddy a Fed. He pointed out how Diddy didn't lift a finger to support him during his battles with the Kardashians overseeing his kids. But the minute Kanye started exposing the shady dealings of Hollywood's elite, suddenly Diddy was all about wanting to meet up. Kanye also hinted at something darker, suggesting that figures like Diddy dodge jail time by striking deals with the industry's elite to act as gatekeepers.
Mills, Puff Daddy, whoever, none of all you fake hard. Wait, hold on. All you fake hard. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a because you can't fight anyway. And the reason why you got talks because you did a deal, you did. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to come at me, because part of the deal for you to be a do all that and get out of jail is that you promise that you're going to go pull my co-car. So y'all about me. Now let me say it calm. You shut the about Michael.
And then when Kanye later crossed paths with some paparazzi, he took another shot at Diddy. He called out celebrities who are controlled by the elites, saying that unlike Diddy and other rappers, he can't be manipulated because he never took anyone's life.
Don't be heard. Y'all can't send none of y'all Meek Mills, y'all Puppies, y'all Lil Boozies, none of these names, none of these people that have to listen to y'all because they have legal. I never nobody, right? I'm that never nobody, right? But that means I can say whatever I want. and not go to jail.
What's also disturbing is that Kanye allegedly came dangerously close to experiencing the same fate as Diddy's late ex, Kim Porter. He claimed that his handlers tried to poison him multiple times because he dared to speak out against the powerful figures controlling celebrities. Remember when Kanye exposed his former personal trainer, Harley Pasternak, for trying to medicate him and confine him to an institution? Pasternak's career didn't suffer at all, and no one even questioned why this man felt so bold to publicly threaten he would institutionalize an A-list celebrity. And just recently, in November 2023, Kanye claimed that Harley Pasternak was still stalking him. He even posted a video of Pasternak searching for him at a hotel in Dubai, raising serious concerns from Kanye's team about Harley's intentions and motives. But Kanye isn't alone in this. Many others like Dave Chappelle, Martin Lawrence, Britney Spears, Amanda Bynes, and even Aaron Carter have also faced similar pressure from alleged Hollywood handlers, with reports of being coerced into taking unnecessary medications, and sadly, some of them paid the ultimate price for it. By the way, at his listening party in Dubai in November 2023, Kanye made another shocking accusation against Harley Pasternak, claiming he was involved in the tragic death of 90s pop star Aaron Carter.
No, none of y'all here with no Instagram, nobody living, nobody, and I don't want to hear from none of the Jewish about, oh, he's in an episode. Harley Pasternak follow me to the hell. The nigga cured Aaron Carter, and now they acting like they won't clear the Backstreet Boys sample. You get what I'm saying? Harley Pasternak pusher. Your trainer, Harley Pasternak, Jay-Z.
Aaron Carter died on November 5th, 2022, after drowning in his bathtub, with officials declaring it an accidental death linked to the substances he had taken. But here's the creepy part. Just one day before his death, Aaron tweeted, "Yo, Kanye, let's talk, man to man." And then Kanye himself later claimed in an interview that Aaron was eliminated because he tried to talk to him about Harley Pasternak.
That way, if they did attempt to or like the Jackson or JFK, then or Aaron, what is the guy's name? Aaron Carter, the guy who wanted to talk to me about the Harley Pasternak situation. If they did do that, they would say, oh, it's Ye's mental health. So
the strange coincidences surrounding this situation are impossible to ignore, and you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to see it. And this all ties back to Jaguar Wright, the industry whistleblower who has been sounding the alarm for years about Diddy and his associates. For those following Jaguar's explosive claims, you know that she hasn't held back in calling out Diddy. And now that he's facing legal trouble, it seems she might be finally getting the justice she's been fighting for. Jaguar has been a relentless voice in exposing the dark side of the music industry, claiming Diddy isn't the innocent figure he pretends to be. In fact, she accused Diddy and his mentor of 3 whole years before Cassie dropped her bombshell lawsuit.
My focus right now is Sean Combs.
Okay. Tell us why. Tell us why.
Because he's a and he's using music and entertainment to.
Now, is this just boys, girls, adults, kids? Like,
I mean, from what I've heard from sources that I would consider reliable, it really doesn't matter.
Wow.
I don't think is something that has anything to do with gender at this point for Sean. I honestly think he's just an extreme narcissist who loves power. Is that Andre got passed over. Like, how do you go from being the president of Uptown and losing your entire company to your intern? Like, Puff started out as an intern.
Jaguar has been relentless in her claims about Diddy, but she didn't stop there. She has consistently set her sights on Jay-Z, alleging that he might actually be even worse than Diddy.
Sean Carter is worse.
Uh-oh. Oh, man.
He's smarter. He's patient. He's not sloppy. This and lining up people he calls friends and stepping to the side while they get hit by the guillotine for 30 years.
And given that Jaguar has already been proven right about Diddy, we can't brush off her claims about Jay-Z so easily. who's to say she won't be vindicated on him too? Just because there hasn't been a major scandal yet doesn't mean one isn't lurking around the corner. Remember, just a few years ago, we never thought we'd see Diddy behind bars. Jaguar's been labeled a wild conspiracy theorist, but look at what's happening now. She's got receipts while others are being exposed. It feels like we're living out of her prophecies, and she might be ahead of the game more than we realize. Jaguar is finally getting her moment in the spotlight, making waves in mainstream media. Recently, she sat down with Piers Morgan to discuss Diddy's arrest and ongoing legal troubles, and she didn't hold back.
How dangerous do you think he is as a person?
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met. A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil.
Yes, you can color your hair at home. Get free expert advice for your best product.
For 30 years, he's been covered and protected. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous. And everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job. He's the Judas. The whole point of this, like Cat Williams said when he sat with Shay Shay earlier this year, the whole point of this is for them in a coordinated effort to pretend like none of it is real for the public's perception. But everyone knows what's going on, and it's been going on for years. It's been going on before Diddy, who was designed to be what he is. We got to stop making Diddies. And if we're going to do that, then we got to go back. We got to go back to even further, the mentors of these people. Because Diddy was taught how to do what he does systematically.
If this goes to court, Jaguar, do you think the world is going to be shocked by what comes out?
Oh, absolutely. I just don't know why they are. It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands.
Jaguar didn't sugarcoat anything. She went straight for the jugular, calling out other big names, including Jay-Z and Diddy's mentor, for being complicit in his crimes. And guess what? Jaguar didn't say allegedly once. And Jaguar is definitely right on this one thing. The same people who used to sing Diddy's praises are suddenly silent. Those who once flaunted their friendships with him are now scrambling to distance themselves. But for some reason, Diddy's lawyers are claiming that Diddy is confident he will beat all charges, almost like they're hinting that Diddy believes he'll still be protected by his powerful connections. So is Diddy just bluffing, or does he actually have so much dirt on these elites that they have no choice but to stand by him? In recent weeks, the conversation surrounding Diddy has taken an even darker turn, as shocking allegations have emerged, and his youngest accuser is now a 9-year-old boy. But despite these disturbing allegations, Diddy's industry friends are completely ignoring the whole drama. For someone who was once widely celebrated and praised by his peers, the silence from those same people is now deafening. We're talking about a man who dominated the music industry for decades, with A-listers once publicly singing his praises. But now, in light of these new accusations, those same voices are nowhere to be heard. It's like the industry has just collectively turned a blind eye, leaving many fans questioning why. What's even more suspicious is Diddy's lawyer's recent statement. His legal team is saying they are confident that the case will be resolved in Diddy's favor.
The spirits are good. He's confident. He is dealing with this head on, the way he's dealt with every challenge in his life. And he's not guilty. He's innocent of these charges.
And remember, this isn't the first time Diddy has faced serious charges and walked away with no consequences. In fact, over the course of his 30-plus years career, Diddy has been entangled in numerous scandals. Yet somehow he always emerged with his reputation largely intact. And this has led to rampant speculation about whether Diddy is being protected by powerful people behind the scenes. It's hard to ignore how someone with so many accusations, ranging from DV and SA decade to running a RICO enterprise, has been able to maintain his position at the top of the industry. An even bigger question is, what does Diddy have on these figures? How deep does that protection go? Are we looking at another Jeffrey Epstein case? The mystery remains, but one thing is certain. Eyes are on Diddy like never before. And just like with Epstein, it will probably be years before we learn the real truth.
Just excellent info. And I relate to all of it, meaning I relate to the perspective of this video. I think it's good. I think it's well researched to the point that, that it can be. And shout out to, Culture Spilled. I was on here minding my business on my iPad, actually. I was like, you know what? This is good. I think I should, recap it. And it has been good. It's been intriguing, interesting, enlightening. And, everything's alleged. Nothing, we don't have no proof of nothing. We weren't there. It's all for entertainment purposes only. It's all in our opinion. We have to always say that. But this was done clearly or completed sometime last year. I'm just now getting a hold of it. But the fact that they call it the baby oil king, I'm not playing with them. It's just interesting information. And it's sad because the information that you hear about is just ruthless and reckless and criminal and deviant and every other bad word you think of. But at the end of the day, the truth doesn't need defending. So, no need to defend anything if you didn't do anything wrong. But these people have very expensive attorneys to defend them. You ain't doing nothing wrong. What you need the best of the best to defend you for. And I don't even call them the best of the best. I'm gonna just say the people that can get you off. I'll say it like that. Because I could never be a criminal defense attorney. I couldn't be an attorney of someone that I knew did something, was guilty of something, and then I have to defend them. Could never be. I'm not rap like that. I can't knowingly see someone is guilty, have facts that this person is guilty. And even if you don't have the facts, just common sense, and still go out there and say, no. We're going to try to discredit all these people who have valid, lawsuits, who have been violated in some way or another. And I just don't understand, how could you have integrity and still do that? Exactly. But people are able to. It's one of those things that I will never probably ever understand in this lifetime. How you can knowingly know someone is a savage, continue to know that they're a savage, and entertain the savagery, and then protect it and fight for it. It's just beyond me. But for many, many people in this crazy world we live in, it's not far-fetched for them. It isn't. It's not even an afterthought for them. And so all it does is tell me there's so many people in this world that have absolutely no regard for their brother or sister to their left or to their right. They have no regard for how people are treated unless it's involving them. Then there's a problem. Those people I call narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths. It just is what it is. It ain't changing over here on Janelle's Reality. You don't like it, unfollow them, whatever. I don't care. But it ain't changing over here. Yeah, so, this is a good documentary, I would say, or docuseries. They're called Culture Spill, as you can see here on the screen. But I'm gonna go back to being me now that I didn't, watch this video and show you the people on Chanel's Reality. This entertaining and actually really informative docuseries or documentary called The Baby Old King Child. They are so messy for that, but it's so true. Anyway, guys, like I said, like the video, like the channel, share, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Have a good rest of y'all's night or day, or I think, yeah, we're definitely into the next day. Yeah, it's 2:30. Lord Jesus, I gotta go to bed. Bye, guys.